All right. Good evening, everybody. For today's video, I thought I would uh, give a shot at seeing if we could do one of these. They're called Karma missions, the Something Strange missions in Greyhack. Just a brief disclaimer, this is about a video game called Greyhack. This is not real life hacking, real life, infosec, cybersecurity stuff. This isn't real. This is for a game. Um, and I also thought I would take this opportunity to introduce a tool that I've been working on called Hex. So I'm going to show that off a little bit. It's still in development. It's not really out there, but some folks have been asking about it, so I thought I would kind of show it off. So we'll see how it goes. Anyway, let's get started. So I'm going to go ahead and start Hex. So there we go, we're up and running. A little bit of preliminary stuff. I gotta make sure my R shell server is running, so we'll swap over to that. Hex throws the meta exploit reference on the R shell server, and then starts it up, gets it running. We'll get the proxies going. I've got 3 proxies set up, so it sets all of those up, clears the logs. If we look at the stack now, we can see I've got them all here in the list of contexts. So we're ready to get started. Real quick, lock down my own computer just to be safe. And all right, we're ready to go. So we've got the Something Strange mission email here. I don't know if I'll be able to complete this. I've done some of these, but they're not all the same. What I've heard is there's 9 different possible missions you can get from this. So let's see how this works. So we'll start with Nmap. This is pretty standard. Every tool has this. Okay, well, not a lot going on here, but let's see what we can do. We got obviously we can hack the router on port 0, which looks like that's what we're going to have to do. So let's do that. Okay, we do have a shell. That's useful. So I'll go here to the stack. You can see I have 2 new entries here. The source is overflow, so I got them from an exploit. I want the one that's the shell, and that's number 5. So let's swap over to number 5. I'm going to go ahead and use jump to attach my meta exploit to that session. We'll hack the local libraries, see if I can get something better than a guest shell. Hopefully a root shell, but if not, it's not the end of the world. Oh, we did get a root shell. Nice. You can see we got a lot of stuff. We got a root shell, guest file, password reset for root. That's useful, but not necessary. So yeah, a lot of root shells. I'm not going to corrupt the logs just yet because we might need them. So actually, I forgot something. Let me swap back over to my home computer. Let me just Hex, when you download files or decipher credentials or whatever, it creates a folder structure called in a folder called targets. So I like to delete that folder when I'm starting, just so I can start with an empty folder, basically no clutter from previous missions. So okay, let's go back to that. I'm going to download the log just to take a quick look at it. Probably doesn't have anything in it, but now that I've got a copy of it, now I will delete it. Let's take a look at it real quick just to see if there is anything in it. Oh, looks like there is. Okay. So this is interesting. This is the, well, that's easy. This is the address we're looking for, this LAN address, 172.168.7.8. And you can see it routed to this other address here. So that is of interest. I'm going to take that address and let's just put it here. Streamer mode doesn't help you if you paste stuff, but that's fine. I'm pasting it into the notepad. So that's probably the next step in this mission, but I'm going to keep going through it real quick just to make sure. And then I believe these other entries, let's see. So this entry up here in the stack that's green, that's the proxy it's using to attack. So I just want to make sure that these other entries are mine. So this one is coming from me. This one is the local libs. That one's coming from me. That's local libs again, presumably. Yeah, this is all the rest of these are just me hacking local libraries. But this one here, that one is useful. That's probably the next step in this mission. So, okay, so we've got that. I did already corrupt the logs on that. Let's go ahead and just grab a root bounce and just check out this address, this LAN address. But I'm fairly confident it's going to have us going here. This will be the next step. So I'm gonna do the jump again, just because you know, now we're root. Sometimes you know, it has the saved session from the guest shell. And then poison is a command in hex. It uploads a lib http.so that contains a root bounce. So now that's there. I'll hack the local libraries again, passing in this LAN address to get a bounce. And there we go. So we have a root bounce. So if we go to the stack, we can see we have the root bounce here, session number 7. Swap 7. I'm just going to get all of the credentials real quick. Number 1, because we don't actually know the root password yet for this network. And number 2, I think I need to rshell it to get into this server. I will pull another nmap. Now that I'm inside of the network, nmap will show me a lot more information than it did from outside of the network. So, but we can see here we've got this, you know, full set of credentials, 2 users, so that's enough for rshell. Here's the root password, that's useful. And put it up here in this folder. I'm going to just open this real quick. Whoops, where'd it go? Just so I have it on hand. Make that a little smaller. There we go. And then let's just do an nmap. 2.16.7.7.8. Oh, I gotta go back to the shell. Now that I'm inside the network, it's able to show me all of the computers. It actually will go down through every router recursively, so we get a much more complete picture. Since I'm inside the network now, all of these are considered open ports, although I may need to revise that a little bit. If they're behind a switch, they would still be internal, or behind another router, they may still be internal. So let's see if the one we're looking for shows up. If it does and has some ports, then we won't need to rshell it, but I suspect we will. 116 or 16.7.8. Let's see. 16.7.7 right there. But and here we go. 16.7.8 has port 21. So let's give that a shot. Okay. So we're inside the network. I'm just going to hack it on that LAN. On port 21 is the open port. And we look at that. We got a user shell out of that. Nice. We don't need to rshell it. So if we go to stack, should have that user shell there on number 8. I'm going to escalate to root real quick. We'll copy that root password from here. There we go. Download. Let's download all of the log files, not just the not just the system.log file, but any chat logs as well. I don't know that there are any, but I suspect there are. Yeah, it looks like we got one, so let's just see. All right, we got a chat log and a system log. So system log is empty, just me. So I'll delete that. Oh, system unstable. Interesting. Okay. I'm glad we got out of there before that happened. I'm glad we got this at least. Yeah, so here's a chat log. He's talking about a new job. I don't know. It's weird. I'll start tomorrow. I'll tell you how it was. Yeah, so not a lot going on there. Let's see what else we can find in there. But I have to reconnect because the system was unstable. I assume it's the target and not my own. Let's see. Double check, make sure. See, do we check it here? No, we check it here. Or do we? I don't see quality. I see the quality, but oh, here we go. Health. Ooh. Actually, my RAM is not looking very healthy. That might be why we're having an issue. 60%. Might need to get some new RAM. I don't see anything else with health issues. Oh, and my hard drive. Oh my gosh. All right. Looks like we're running out of some hardware here. Well, let's take care of that real quick. Sorry for this little brief detour. I'm going to start Hex back up again, just because I like to hack shops before I browse to them, just to make sure I'm safe. So let's find a shop. Oh, this is going to be hard to do with the streamer mode on. Huh. Can I still copy and paste? This is weird. Let's see if I can still copy and paste. Nope. Alright, well, we're here. Yeah, that works. Okay. Alright, we hack the shop on 480. Hopefully we get a shell or something. Yeah, we got a shell. Oh, and I didn't have my proxy going. That's not ideal. Oh well. Hoping for a root shell or some kind of root permission access that I can use to wipe the logs. There we root file, that's sufficient. And we also got a root shell. So there we go, clearing the logs. Now I can go about my business. There's still a chance that somebody, had some script running or something that would have, grabbed the logs before I cleared it, but I'll also go ahead and do that. Okay, so yeah, hardware. Let's look at, what was it? RAM. It was RAM I needed, right? Let's see what I need. What kind of RAM I need. We need DDR3. I think this motherboard can take up to 8 gigs. Let's see if that tells me. Max per socket 4096. So DDR3 max 4 gigs. DDR3 8 gigs, DDR3 1 gig, also low quality stuff. Here we go, DDR3 4 gigs, 9 out of 10. All right, we'll take it. Buy 3 of those, max that out. Okay, and then what else was it I was looking pretty rough. Was it the power supply? No, power supply looks good. I think it was the hard drive, huh? Yeah, hard drive. Need a better hard drive. Let's look at the hard drive. Hard drive. Anything of reasonably high quality. Okay, here we go. 7 gigs, 15,000, 10 out of 10. This one is, ooh, this one's even better. Well, it's bigger, but not as fast. I'll go with this one, I think, maybe. Size isn't really that big of a deal, you know, for the in the game anyway. Let's look at what else we got here, just while we're here. What do I have for power supply? I got 910 watt. Let's see if there's anything better for power supply. Because I think I had a nicer processor I could switch in if I have a stronger power supply. I got 910 right there. That's what I have now. Yeah, there's nothing better than 910 in here for the moment. So, and I think that's 10 out of 10 quality. What do we have? 7. Oh, that's the hard drive. That's the old hard drive. This is power supply. Yeah, 10 out of 10. That's the exact one I have. Yeah, I just upgraded some of the pieces recently, but apparently not the important ones. So, okay, well then that's sufficient. So let me go ahead and just pop these out of here and replace them. Right click obviously does that, and then you just drag in the new one. Do that with all the RAM. And then, yeah, these are the new ones. So here's a new RAM, and new RAM. Everything else should be fine. I don't think, yeah, everything else is fine. So I'm going to go ahead and, I guess I can just do that. Well, no, I cleared the logs. Huh? I won't be able to get that back. So I'm going to save this because I got to restart my computer to install the hardware. So we'll just save that real quick there. And yeah, all right, well, we'll go ahead and reboot. I think that's all I need to do. I don't think there's anything else I need to save. So apply changes and reboot. All right, back up and running. Wait for my startup script to go. I'll move these windows around here in a second. Okay, put everything back where it goes. Oh, and the sound is going. Let me turn that off. There we go. The sound is cool. They just added sound to this game, or he, I guess, Kuro just added sound to this game recently, and it's pretty cool. I like the startup sounds. They're very realistic. Okay, and now we're more or less back to where we started. Apologies for that interruption. I did not check to see what state my hardware was in. But if you ever see that error, now you know what causes it, how to fix it. Set my windows back up here. One day I hope Greyhack will have the ability to save window layouts in between restarts. That would just be wonderful. But until then, we do this. Alright, I think we're about back to where we left off. Let me open my credentials file again. This one up here. Make that all narrower. Alright, good to go. So start hex back up. Let me just clean up a little bit on my own system, and then start the R shell server again. I mean, it's already running. This just connects hex to it. All right, and back there, we'll start the proxies. Oops. All right, where were we? Let me get back into this network. We'll go on port 0. Okay. We want our guest shell as number 5. Since we have the root password from previously, I can just shortcut that and jump to get a meta exploit on it. Let's do the map again, just so we have the complete picture. Here's our target. We'll do hack. Oh, yeah, it's still got the poison lib on it from before, so I don't have to re-upload that. So this will get us, oh, you know what? This is just going to be the bounce exploit, but we actually have an open port on this, on port 21, so do it that way. There we go. We have a user shell. If I go to that address, the user shell there is number 8. We'll do, again, we'll SU to get our root shell there. Huh. System unstable again. I wonder if that's on the target. That's kind of annoying. I should have R-shelled it before. Alright, well, let's do that again. This one. Oh, I gotta start hex, that's why. Okay. This is mildly annoying. I don't think it's my hardware that's the issue anymore. It can be hardware on either end, so I'm guessing that the hardware issue I'm running into is on the target and not my own computer. But we can still make it work. So let me just get back into the router. I think that's number 5. Skippy 1. Oh, is it not Skippy 1? Looks like maybe it's Skippy L. No? What am I doing wrong? I'm just going to copy and paste. Life's too short. Yeah, that looks a lot like Skippy. Oh, I skipped the Y the first time around. That's why. Okay. Anyway, we're in. Corrupt the logs real quick, just in case. Okay, so we're in the router. Let's do our LAN address on port 21. Oh, I need to jump. That's right. Okay. And by the way, you may notice that progress bar filled up really fast, even though I had pivoted to being on the router. It's actually using my home computer's hardware to do the scan, even though I'm attacking from the router. So I'm rather proud of that. That happens automatically in the background with Hex. You don't have to even think about it. It just always uses your home computer's hardware to scan, but it leaves your proxy computer's IP address in the logs. And while attacking from the meta exploit of your target, so you can attack local libraries or pivot and attack inside the network while still running on your home computer. You never need to copy hex to a target to use it from the target. So I think that I like that a lot, although I did write it, so I'm a little biased. But anyway, okay. So before we get okay, let me get over onto the target. Let's see. We have a user shell there. Swap 8. Let's type that correctly. Do that again. Now, before I go too much farther, I am going to drop an R shell. Oh, I need to jump again. That's right. Oh my goodness, that is really, really annoying. That's very annoying. Hmm. All right. One more time. Okay. Okay. So we're good there. I don't even know if there's anything that I need on this computer. You know, now that I've got this IP from the router log, like this all might just be a waste of time. Which, if it is, I apologize. But I just want to see. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to pull like a tree on it and see what files there are, because we may not need anything else from there. I'm actually kind of surprised I was even able to download the 2 log files, given the how bad the hardware seems to be. So anyway, yeah, going back to the router. Yeah, because it's not my computer, because if it was my computer, I'd have the same issue uploading to the router, and I'm not having that problem on the router. So it must be the computer in the network that's the problem. But let's see what we can get from a tree. Actually, I will use the root bounce for this. Okay. You'll notice we have one on here where the source is bounce. That's how you know where that came from. Let's do that. See what we got in here. So we got some libraries, bank and mail. Here's the chat log that we already got. Ooh, there's this server details PDF. I would like to have that. Let's see if I can get that. I'm going to drop an R shell just so we can get back to this quickly. We have the credentials here already. I'm going to send from this other one because this file that I want is in the Ikmanor, I don't know how you say his name. So I want to log in as him with that R shell. So we're going to send from Ranani to Ikmanor. Let's go ahead and get logged in. And password. I don't know why I even have these streamer mode things on. It won't. It doesn't. It doesn't redact them in text files. So kind of not much good to redact them in other places. Okay, but let's see. We got funny game right there. We're gonna send it to Ikmanor right there. And the only reason I'm doing the R shell, by the way, is in case I run into any more instability in the system. I don't want to have to do all of that to get back. So do R shell info. That just prints my R shell server's IP address and port, so I can copy and paste it. You may think that's a very simple, dumb thing, but you'd be amazed how handy that is and how often I'm grateful I built that into hex. Okay, so now If I just do R shell, it should grab that R shell and add it to the stack, which it did. So we have shell there on 8. And now if I download, hopefully it gets it. Okay, we got the PDF. I wonder if it's just uploading that causes the problem. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so this PDF contains the same public IP as this one here. SSH access to your RIM number 58 computer has been enabled. IP address, there's the IP address. We have the contract number, the name, the expert level. So it's a NeuroBox network. Okay, interesting. That's all we needed. I probably didn't need to do all that, since all it did was give us the same IP address we had from the logs. But, never hurts to be thorough. So now that I have all of that, I'm going to escalate, and actually let me swap over. I'll clear the logs from the computer, from the bounce exploit. And let's go back to the router, clear the logs there, just again to be thorough. Now I'm going to clean up, so let's do R shell-C. It kills any R shell processes I have, removes any R shells from my R shell server. I can test that by running R shell again. You can see added 0 R shells to the stack. And now stack-C clears out everything from the stack except for my own servers. And so now we're ready to move on. So I'm going to go ahead and close this, since we don't need that anymore. And we'll go up one folder here since we'll be on a new network. So let's take this address and let's see what we get. Start with nmap. Okay. Let's get a foothold in the router first. Just because we'll almost certainly need to bounce. So, oh, root shell right off the bat. Look at that. Okay. Swap over to the root shell. That's number 5. Let's again download that log just in case. You may be wondering why I'm not bothering to decipher any passwords on the router. It's because there are no passwords on the router. Routers have an empty password file, so can't decipher passwords on the router, but that's okay. We don't need to. So let me go ahead and jump, get my meta exploit there, and poison, so I have my root bounce available. Let's pop over into here, see if that log has anything. No, only my own records. Okay, so let's clear the log. And then let's see what we find. So let's do an nmap. Now, oh, here we go. Look at this. We got some firewall rules on this one. Interesting. So 2 IP addresses, useful. So let's copy those. This one may be the one we just came from. I think it is. Let's look. 212.161.74193. Yeah. So this one doesn't matter. That's the network we were just in before this one. But we have one here. Let's see what we got here. That one is new. So that may be our next clue. I'll get rid of this first one. That's the one we're in right now. And we also have a LAN address here, port 22. 192.168.17.6 is allowing outbound, I guess. So let's take a look at that computer first. That's the SSH server, so we were probably going there anyway because it's the only other open port. So, but that may be where our friend Ickmanner or whatever is logging into for his job. So let's see. Let's see, which one did we say that was? 17.6. Copy that. We'll hack 17.6 on port 22. Okay, we have a guest shell. Okay. guest shell on, so let's swap to 7. Oops. And jump. Jumping is necessary, by the way, in order to hack the local libraries, because we need a meta exploit instance on it. We don't really need crypto, and app client we don't need app client either to do the hacking, but they each have their possible uses. I think probably in a future iteration of this tool, I will change this a little bit so that you can choose to only do one of them, since we only need metaexploit most of the time. But anyway, that's why those are there. So now we have that. Let's do hack-l. Hack all of the local libraries looking for whatever we get. Hopefully we get a root shell or something of enough permission that we can decipher the password file, because that way we won't have to rshell. Speaking of which, I'm going to go ahead and close this mail and open another one since it's now on a different network, just so we have it ready in case we do need to use an rshell. All right, we got a root file, user shell, user password reset, a couple password resets for nans. All right, we got a lot of stuff here. We got several user shells, guest shell. Here's icmanner. Here's our guy. One root file, or 2 root files actually. A lot of password resets. All right, so that's enough. So let's we'll decipher all. That'll get us all the credentials off of this computer, enough to escalate to root. And I will once I have root, I'll download all the log files again and whatnot. Another future iteration of this tool, by the way, will use a password list and a map, so deciphering will be instant. So yeah, but for the moment we still use crypto to do it the old-fashioned way. Okay, so there's the root password. Dora did what? Who knows? Okay, now we're root. Let's download star.log. That'll get the system log and any chat logs. Oh, I guess there's a few log files. What network are we in? Is this this one, right? Let's start looking at these. First, the system log. Ooh, a lot of stuff in the system log. This is probably all me though. Yeah, all the same address here. So because we hacked the local libraries, it shows up a lot. So that's fine. We don't need that log. Let's look at the chat log though. Hello, I've been checking the main libraries and found several vulnerabilities in init.so and net.so. Thanks for the information. For now, we only want you to focus on kernel module. Also found some vulnerabilities there. Okay, you just have to work on kernel module SO. We have other teams dedicated to the other libraries. How? It seems a bit excessive to dedicate entire teams just for this. One person could review them all. Thanks for the suggestion. This has been discussed internally and no changes are necessary. At this time, we are interested that you only work in the kernel because it is more complex than other parts. Okay. Well, that sounded very dissatisfying. Let's look at the other one. It was dissatisfying for me too. How was your first day? Not bad, I guess. Did something go wrong? No, it's just that something doesn't fit here. There's a lot of security. You cannot take a step without having to show the employee card. I think I'll try to sneak into level 2. Maybe I could see something interesting. Be careful if you don't want to get fired on the first day. Haha, don't worry. We'll talk when I get home. When I get home? Is Ford like his, or Ferd, whatever, is that like his partner, significant other? I don't know. Anyway. Okay, not a lot of information there. Let's see what else is in the file system on this computer. We got, those are the 2 chat logs that we downloaded. I don't really see much of anything else. Sometimes there's some stuff in sources.txt if they use a repo. So I guess let's pull that file. Nothing of interest there, although they have, interesting, there's a meta exploit in the libs folder. That is a surprise. You don't often see meta exploit in the lib folder on a NPC system. And it's not the one I uploaded because Hex Hex updates or uploads meta exploit at the client and crypto to the target, but then it deletes them. Although they are all here in the lib folder, so maybe it did put them here. I don't know. Maybe that's it, but it should. I believe it deletes them. It's meant to delete them afterwards. Although that may be a different version of the tool. I'm kind of maintaining two versions. This is actually the old version, but it has more functionality. I'm writing a new version for the new version of Greyhack that's meant to be a bash replacement, but that one still has a lot of work. So this is the old version, so I may be mixing up what I've done where. In any case, let's download sources.txt. Now you'll notice when I download stuff on Hex, I don't have to be very specific about the file name. It'll search the file system and download anything that matches. Okay, nothing in sources.txt. So let's see, there's nothing in the trash folder. I guess we could check the mail. Let's look at the mail, see if there's anything of interest in the email for either of these guys. We do have that other IP address to look, so there may simply not be anything. But this particular mission is of a similar format to one that I've done before or tried to do before and not been able to complete. So I just want to double check and make sure that I'm not missing anything, because the last time I tried to do this, it didn't work. So I felt like I missed something along the way, because I reached a point where I think it was a dead end. Oops. So just want to be extra thorough. Okay, this is okay. Have you checked out an IP address? I saw something there didn't quite add up. That IP address is the same one as the one we started from, so that's not particularly useful. And what about this next one? Yesterday I was working with Shannon on the new project. See, the work was handled pretty well. Not that it's a miracle, but at least Shannon knows the way around and doesn't miss much. So this is an email from, I don't know if it's email. I think this is an email that our users sent, that our this Nan's users sent. Because in Greyhack, when you send an email, it shows up in your own inbox too. And I think when it has these little carets in front of it, or brackets or whatever in front of it, then that means it's one that you've sent. However, I don't think it really matters in this case. There doesn't seem to be anything of any import. So let's go into Ickmanner. That's our dude we followed here from the other network. So there might be something better in his email address, or their email address, I guess. I don't really know. You know, these are last names, so you can't really tell what they should be addressed by. Okay, same email as before. Have you checked out? I saw something there that didn't quite add up. So this is the same email, IP address we already have. So nothing particularly useful there. Okay. Well, we do have that other IP address from the logs, so or from the firewall rather, rules. So let's try that. See what we get. Let's see, do I have any R shells to clear out? No. So we'll do stack-c, and then we'll pop back up here and get ready for the next network. So again, we'll start with nmap. Ooh, no open ports anywhere except for the router here. So let's see what the router gives us. Hopefully something. Port 0. We have a guest shell. Okay, well that's good enough. So we got an overflow, that's number 5. Let's see if we can do it with just local libraries. Sometimes what I find myself having to do is, you know, just settle for the guest shell on the router, pivot internally, hack something on the LAN, use that access to figure out the root password, and then SU to get myself yeah, that's what I'm going to have to do here. So hacking local libraries did not help. We still only have guest shells. So let's do an nmap and see what we get. Excuse me, just 1 second here. I have to take care of something. Okay. All right, so let's do an nmap, see what we get. Now that we're inside the network, we should have a lot more options. Yeah, big network. Okay. And we do have some more accessible stuff here. So let's see if we can hack into one of these guys and get some credentials. Port 22 is open for that one. Oh, it must be behind a switch or a firewall or something. I probably can't do any of these guys then, but let's just see. Yeah, okay, target's behind a firewall. It says behind a firewall, but typically what is actually probably happening is it's behind a switch, actually. Of course, I could run scanlan and find out for sure. In fact, I probably will, just to get a picture of what we're working with here. Yeah, couldn't connect. All right, so let's do that. I forgot to start admin monitor before, which since I'm gonna upload and run an executable, I definitely want to have that going. So we'll upload scanlan, and then okay, we got a binary. Okay, good. That didn't start a trace. Big network, big network. Okay, so wow, we're right here on the edge router. What do we have available to us? We got, that's a big network. First of all, the ones we were, oops, moved the wrong window there. The ones we were looking at, 10, 0, 23, 2, 4, and 5. Those are down here. 2, 4, and then 5 is right there. And that is a hub, but this is a switch. That's a switch. So, and then are we connected? I think we're connected on Ethernet. So we can actually, you know what? We actually do have a way to get in here. So let's see. So that's a switch. No, I don't think that's the right switch. But it doesn't matter, actually. So show gateway for this guy, 10.0.23.1. So what we're going to do is there's this nifty little command. This is actually kind of a neat technique. So if config, you can actually use ifconfig to set your IP address and gateway on a computer that's using Ethernet. If it's wireless, you would use iwconfig, I believe, which obviously does a different thing. But on Ethernet, we can use ifconfig to change our IP address and gateway address. And if you'll notice, my current local IP is on the 192.168.1 subnet with gateway address 192.168.1.1. Although actually, you know what? I can't. I was gonna try to just change my IP address, put myself in the right subnet. Except I am running on the router, so I can't change the router's IP address. That would not work very well. But here's what we'll do. Let's see if we can get a bounce on one of these guys, because bounces don't care about switches. So even if all we get is a guest computer, that's good enough. Let's see what we get. Nothing. Do we not have any bounces at all? Wow. Failed to find non-root user. Nothing I can do about that. We should have a bounce in here. No LAN IP indicated or invalid. All right. Well, let's try this. Do we have any usernames? We have the admin. Do we have any other usernames? I wonder if I can get to any of these other computers, even if they... No, they won't have any... I need a bounce, or I need to be able to connect to one of these guys. So we don't have a bounce there. I wonder if I can... if I can hack myself. 8080. That probably won't give it. Yeah, that won't give us anything better. Let's try this. Man, I need a username. I wonder if I do I not have that file? I don't. Okay. Maybe it's in here. No? Yeah, okay. It'd be useful if I had employees viewer, but I don't seem to. It's a bit of a quandary. Bit of a pickle. Well, let's see if the user from our previous network exists in this network as well. And then I'll try to social engineer the admin with that. So let's see if we can get him to update some libraries. Copy all this because I'm gonna need this stuff. I almost hit Control C there. That would have been bad. Oops. Do we not? Oh, I guess we can't do that. Well, let's see. We'll get the admin last name and the company name. I'm getting these all, by the way, because I need them for the social engineering template to do what I'm about to try. So we have the admin's name, the company name, the admin's email address. So we'll go up here, we'll do outdated library. We'll put the admin's email address. Admin name is this one. Put that there. Username. I'm hoping this fellow is a user on this network as well. He may not be, but I'm kind of running out of stuff to try. Let's try lib http.so. Ah, it worked. Okay, so that is a user on this network. Interesting. So, okay, now that that's done, let's see if it worked. So the old version was HTTP 127. Let's try and see if it's updated. So it was 127 before, now it's 182. So let's try hacking local libs again. Probably didn't need to do jump there since we already had it, but let's just see. See if we get anything better from local libs now that we have a newer lib http.so. We have a root password reset. Okay, let's do that. Did I not do that right? Let's try it this way. Okay, password modified okay. So now, boom, now we're root. All right, let's jump again. Apparently I need to modify that command. It doesn't seem to take a fourth parameter, or rather a third parameter for the password if you don't, if you're just doing local libraries. So I have to modify that. All right, let's download the log. And poison, so we get a root bounce. Well, first let's check the log, see if there's anything of interest in the log. What network are we on? We're on 156. Okay. Anything in the log? There should be a lot of my own address. Oh, here we go. This gives us a local address to check out. So 10.0.23.10 is a connection routed to our previous network. So that's the local IP that was connecting to SSH on that previous network. The rest of these are all just me. So my flailing around trying to get access. So let's clear the log and let's see if we can get a bounce on this LAN address. Okay, so we have a bounce there. So I'll go to stack. Swap 7. Let's see what is in the file system here. Got some pictures, chat log. We have a bank text, and a browser text file. That's new. We don't often see those on NPC computers. So I bet there's a bookmark in there that'll lead us to our next step. So if I wrote if I was better at coding, or not better at coding, if I had more time and spent more energy building this, I'd have a, it would be possible to read the contents of this text file with just this computer object. Because that's possible, in GrayScript you can do that, but I haven't built a way to do that into Hex. So we're gonna get an R shell, because that's what I'd want to look at these log files anyway, so let's grab an R shell. Run the decipher real quick. All right. Interesting. Huh. Apparently changing the root password on the router changed it for the whole network, which is a surprise. I didn't know that it did that. But that's fine. Okay, so what was the user that had those? That is our user, by the way, Ikmanar. So I could have just R-shelled him directly, since he is a user on this network, and we knew the domain name because of the nmap. I could have just sent him. Well, no, I need another email address, so I couldn't have R-shelled him without another email address. But whatever, we have it now. So let's see, what network was that? Was that ending in 4? Damn you! Oh yeah. 156, and on this computer we have credentials. There we go. Streamer mode does make this somewhat complicated, but it's probably better to use it. Otherwise, you ne'er-do-wells would be hacking me and causing me all kinds of grief. Although when you've been playing Greyhack for long enough, you kind of get to the point where resetting's not that big a deal. So, it wouldn't be the end of the world if somebody hacked me and reset, but I do it periodically anyway. It's just annoying to have to re-get all of your hardware, especially if the shops don't have a good set of hardware available. Okay, so let's R-shell. We're going to R-shell from this reharpa user, because I want to, not that it really matters, since I'm escalating to root immediately anyway, but okay. Some emails here. Yeah, It's funny, they have emails now that tell you when they go on break. I'm betting that's the admin. Yeah, that's the admin, Elatar. So the admin sends emails to everybody saying when they're going to go on break, so that if you wanted to kill them by blowing up the microwave or smart appliance or whatever, you know what time to do it. That's kind of funny. That is a viable method of eliminating an admin, by the way. If you're running up against a super admin or something, and you need to remove them from the equation so you can get better exploits than guest exploits, you can actually kill the admin or get them fired. Once again, this is a game. This is a video game we're talking about. Just want to be real clear. Uh, this is a video game, but yeah, you can kill them by hacking into the smart appliance and then overloading it. That'll cause it to explode. And if you time that right while they happen to be nearby, it will kill them. And it takes a few days for the NPC network to hire a new one. Um, you can also hack into the traffic net and cause a car accident. And you can also hack into their smartphone and change their alarm. My understanding is if they're late for work 3 times, they get fired. So that's also an option. All of those are really annoying to do. Um, and usually you don't have to, but it is an interesting method of gameplay. Um, so anyway, here's another interesting email talking about that first network. More fluff. None of this matters. Anyway, we'll go back to the funny game. Email for Ickmanner. This guy's got users everywhere. He's had a user in every single network we've been in so far. Now you may notice that when I do my R shells, I set it to port 10,000. Usually it's port 1222. I change my R shell servers to a non-standard port. It probably doesn't matter. Just on the off chance somebody's scanning around the internet for open ports on 1222 to look for players. There's almost 4 billion IPs. The odds of somebody happening across one of my servers that way very unlikely. So it really probably isn't necessary, but it's just I started doing that before I realized how unnecessary it was, and now I'm just kind of still doing it from force of habit. So it is what it is. In any case, we have our R shell. So let's see, Ickmanner swap 8, SU hex apparently. All right, let's download log files. I'm glad this computer doesn't have busted hardware like that other network. That was really annoying. I hate when that happens. Let me get rid of this other email too, by the way, since we passed that. Okay, let's check the log file first. Yeah, nothing of any interest, maybe? Connection established on port 80. Why would there be a connection established on port 80? This computer's not running a web server, is it? 10.0.23.10. I mean, these IP addresses are just our own, right? So this one, the one starting with 1 ending in 3, that's this network, I believe. Yeah, that was our first target network, and then this other one, and starting in 1 ending in 4, is our second target network. So those aren't new. Those aren't new IPs. This is the one we're currently on. I wonder. Oh, connection established on port 80. This is an outgoing connection because that browser.txt file is there. So, all right, let's look at this chat log. We got a chat log in here. I have some photos. I sneaked into section of level 2. Turns out they have labs, but not software labs, but chemical labs. There were also hospital beds and surgical supplies too. Yes, that's weird. I'm going to continue researching, and I'll post everything I find on my blog. That doesn't seem like a good idea. If you get caught breaking your contract in something like this, you could go to jail. Don't worry, the blog is anonymous. You're crazy. Don't say I didn't warn you. Okay, so blog, port 80. He's got a browser.txt file. I'm betting that's where his blog is going to be bookmarked. But let's grab all the rest of the interesting files. We have some JPEGs, and then those text files. So let's grab the JPEGs. Download star.jpg. Let's get the browser.txt. Browser.txt. Oh, probably capital B maybe? Yeah, okay. Let's grab that sources file too, just in case. Although there's usually not anything in it, especially since there's no apt cache in there. So I don't know, I'll get it, but it's probably empty like that other one was. And let's clear the logs. Okay, so let's look at what we got. Sources.txt, yeah, it's empty. All right. Here's our pictures. Lab 01. Yep, that sure looks like a lab. Lab 02. Again, looks like a lab. Beds. Nothing of any importance there. It is exactly what he described, hospital beds. Let's look at the browser file. Look at that, we got another IP address. That is what I expected to find. In case you're unfamiliar, browser.txt, when you open a browser, like if I go over here and just open a browser in the game, you'll see that we have this star for bookmarks, and then, I've got an entry in my bookmarks. If you add something to the bookmarks, it gets saved in that browser.txt file inside of the config folder. So this IP address is bookmarked on this guy's browser. We may even be able to see that. If I open the browser, will it show me? No. That's funny. So I guess it doesn't... oh, maybe because I'm running as root. That's probably why. But in any case, yeah, we now have a new IP address to try. Oops, didn't need to do that. Copy that. Probably don't need these anymore. Put that in there. All right, let's look at that IP address and see where that takes us. We'll leave that up for now. Let's clear out the R shell. Go back to that router, make sure I cleared the logs out there. I'm pretty sure I did, but let me just double check. That's 5. Okay, cleared there, and then clear the stack. All right, next network. In case you're keeping track, this will be our 4th network in the chain of networks for this mission. These Karma missions are, by the way, some of the hardest missions in the game. This is like end game content, so they're hard to do. Many people don't finish these. Like I said, I believe there's 9 different ones, like 9 different kinds of missions you can get. The reason these are called Karma missions, by the way, is because you don't start getting them until your Karma... oh, that's weird. I thought it had to go all the way to 100, but I guess it just has to go far enough in one direction. Because mine's not all the way down to negative 100. But once you reach a low, Karma far enough in one direction or the other, you'll start getting these missions. They seem to be triggered on emails, actually, which is weird. Like I've gotten them, they've been triggered by me sending like an R shell email before. Which is kind of strange, but in any case, you get them fairly regularly. So, I've tried several of these. I've completed some, not completed others. The one we're currently doing, the last time I got one like this, I wasn't able to finish it. So, hopefully this one will go different. Let's see how this goes. All right, nmap that. We got some open stuff. So let me get a foothold in here on the router. 0. Oh, root shell right off the bat. Look at that. Okay. So let me go there. Download the log. before we do anything else. And I'll poison it so we have our root bounce. And in the meantime, let's see what was in that log, if anything. Nothing. Only 2 entries, both of them mine. Alright, well, let's clear the log then. And let's see what else we get. Oh, first of all, we didn't actually try it. Let me swap over to my proxy. And let's actually browse to this address and see. Oh, what? That's an unusual thing. Let's see. Huh. Interesting. Were there firewall rules? So this guy was talking about a blog. We found this IP address saved as a bookmark in the browser, which means there's probably something running on port 80 that you would be able to access in a browser. I'm still on my proxy. Let's get back to the router. All right, and then let's run that nmap again. Interesting. We don't have a lot of new stuff in here, but it is running something on port 80. I would have expected to be able to get to that. Let's see. Well, I'm trying to think about what the next course of action should be. Let's see if I can hack it from here on the local address. Port 80. Yeah, okay. So it's behind a firewall or switch of some sort. Let's find out what it is behind, actually. Still have my admin monitor running, just in case there's an active trace. Active traces, by the way, can be triggered anytime you run any kind of GUI application or start a terminal. To cancel out of an active trace, you would just close whatever that application is that you started. But then, of course, you have to worry about passive traces, which for those you'd have to clear the logs. All right, so which one are we looking for? We're looking for 172.16.13.14. 172.16.13.14. 14 or 4? Just 4. 172.16.13.4. So that's right here. So that is, we got a hub right there. We got a hub right there. Let's see. And it is behind a switch. And the gateway is this one? Yeah. Gateway there, switch there. So the switch is the reason it's not working. Switches block all access. Although it's also possible that this router has a firewall that's preventing it too. Let's see. Let's do that. Let's check and see. I wonder if we can drop the firewall rules on that router. I think they get cached. So, so I don't know how well that'll work, but let's just try that. I put too many spaces in there. Yeah, we can't get to the router either because there's a switch in the way. So Okay, so what we got to do is we can bounce. We can bounce to it directly to that address. So, see, this is the one we wanted. So let's bounce. Hack-L address. Okay, we got a root bounce. Swap 7. Let's look at what's there first. Yeah, it's running the website, but there's really not too much else there. Not a lot in there, actually. But let's get onto it and see what we can see. Maybe there's something in the logs. Oh, this is Ickmanor again. This guy's everywhere. We got 2 users, so we can R shell straight to it. So, all right, let's decipher all. Get the credentials. Okay. It's a funny password. We got our new mail window. It's kind of a long video, by the way. If you're still with me, thanks for hanging out. All right, let's look through these real quick. A lot of spam. I'm going to just delete these spam messages. They don't matter. And the NPCs won't notice. Look, the admin talking about how he's taking his break. And praising a coworker for help. So, all right, let's do the funny game. We want to go Ickmanor again. Okay, there's the R shell. Pop the R shell on there. Flip over to the R shell on number 8. SU to get to root. And let's download the log. Just in case. Nothing. Maybe nothing. Actually, maybe not nothing. Is this a different IP address? No, that's the same one. And this one, also one we've already seen. Not a different IP address. Okay, well, let's look at this, see if we can see this website. Blog closed. Well, that's pretty cool. Not much of a website. Wonder if there's anything hidden in the source code or something for that website. Oops. I don't know how that happened. Pardon me. Must have hit a keystroke or something to start Visual Studio. All right, let's download I want to see that HTTPD conf. I don't think there would be anything. Yeah, I don't think there's anything usually in those. Let's try the website. Oops. Let's see if there's anything hidden in the source code for the website. Does not look like there is. Yeah, all this is just the header and some styling. Centering, padding, H1, font stuff, color, yeah, nothing of any particular interest. Alright. What else do we have in here? There's nothing in the trash. We have the bank and mail stuff. I guess I can look at Ickman or his email, see if there's anything in there. I think this is about as far as I got with this particular mission the last time I tried to do it. So this may be where my skills fall short, but let's see if we can get this done. Here's the new credentials. Just see what we can find. And there's my RShell email. Delete that, not that it matters. Some spam. More spam. More spam. Other day I heard, so this is him sending an email out. So you notice the difference, by the way? When you receive an email, it looks like this. When you send an email, it's got this caret in front of it. So I think this is an email he sent to somebody else talking about this network, which I believe is one we've already seen. That's the one we started with. That's the one from the mission email. So nothing interesting there. Another email praising Tammy. Tammy's a real go-getter. But nothing of interest here. That is disappointing. There's nothing in here. Let's pull down sources.txt just in case. I don't believe there will be anything of value there either. Nothing. Alright, well, what else do we have? Let's try looking at this other server. Do I still have the scan line open? Let me pull that open again. I suppose I had to clear the logs too, since they're not of any use. Alright. It's not a very big network, honestly. So you can see I'm now running on this computer. Not a very big network. I wonder if these computers here might have anything interesting. They seem to be hidden. Of course, we're also kind of hidden. Are there services running on those 16.4.2 and 16.4.3? I don't even see them in the network. Oh, here we go, 16.4.2 and 16.4.3. They claim to not have any services running, but it looks like they do. At least my Nmap's not seeing any services running on those. Let's try. Yeah, it's not showing me anything running on those, but they clearly look like they have services running. So let's try to get a bounce on one of these guys. I wonder if because it just looks interesting to me. You notice typically computers, when they don't have any ports on them, they look like this. They have this tower kind of graphic. And then when they do have services running, they look like this, where they've got like the three kind of boxes. You know, they look like they've got more going on. The two box situation, that's a router. The weird thing with like the red box with the Ethernet plugs, that's a switch. And then these kind of blue ones with the Ethernet ports are hubs. Hubs don't do anything, they're kind of pointless. But switches typically block access to everything behind them. So I'd be willing to bet that there's more going on these computers than what it looks like from outside of here. So yeah, let's go ahead and get a bounce on those. The nice thing about bounce exploits is they don't care about switches, they don't care about routers, they don't care about subnets. You can get a bounce on anything, bypass any kind of network hardware. So, you know, because that's good. All right, going back to the router, let's see, swap 5, hack-l. What were those addresses? 172.16.4.3. All right, let's get a bounce on that bad boy. All right. And then it's going to be, looks like number 9. We're going to go straight for the R shell because probably need to get into that anyway. Let me move this scan line out of the way. Oh, there are no users. Well, there is a user, but no mail or bank file. That's unusual. Fortunately, we have the username, which is all we need. So we already have an email account on the network. So let's put that there, and then we'll copy the second half of the email here. I'm kind of excited. This might be what we need. Because that's unusual. Like for the system to not have any mail or bank files on it is unusual, and anything unusual means there's probably something interesting on that computer. Now that I've said that, I'm sure I'll be incorrect and it'll be boring with no signs of how to proceed. But all right, so we've got the R shell set up. Let's pop over. That's number 10. And let's escalate to root and download star.log. I hope this gives us something good. Let's see. This one. 172.16.4.3. Anything in there? Wow, the log is completely blank. What else is on this computer? We have report, we have a PDF, and we have okay, so let's download that PDF. Interesting, there is a mail and bank file on here, but it didn't, the decipher didn't pick it up. I'm going to download those. Those are very interesting to me. Well, let's look at this report thing first and see what we have. Last Thursday night, the murder of Jesse Reeves, a computer programmer linked to the development of the popular Ellipse operating system, was reported. Although NeuroBox never made the names of the people involved public, police investigators suspect that Jesse Reeves was affiliated with the company for several years. The police are not sharing any other details at this time, but this investigation could potentially expose new information about this secretive company and its popular operating system. Okay. Is that what we're on right now? Is this a NeuroBox network? I think I may need to update my Nmap. I don't know that it shows NeuroBox networks. Like, I think there's updated information since I wrote this Nmap before before the 0-day system existed. It didn't show NeuroBox networks. In any case, all right, getting back to it, let's download star.txt because I want to look at those mail and bank files. That looks like a normal. It looks like a normal mail and bank file. Yeah, I don't know why it. Yeah, nothing in sources.txt, of course. I don't know why it didn't decipher those. Oh, maybe did I just type decipher and not decipher all? That would be why, if that's what I did. Oh, can't tell now. But if I just do that, I bet that's what I did. I bet I just typed decipher and not decipher all. Yeah, that's what I did. Okay, well that was silly. All right, now that we're in here, yeah, we do have some open ports now that we're in here. So I don't know why those didn't show up before. Because I'm pretty sure we didn't have, these guys weren't showing up with any open ports before, right? I can't really go back and look now, but let's try the other one. Let's go to, let's see if we can get into the other one. On port 21. Oh. That's that big ugly red error is what you get when you don't have a meta exploit attached and you try to hack local. Could not connect to it. All right, I guess let's bounce to it again. Okay. Move 11, I think, is our bounce. Okay. This time, I must have just not put decipher all last time. It's annoying. All right, there's the new R shell. Let's get all the log files. We have a chat log. That's something. Chat log complaining about a party. Nothing in the log. New OS part. That looks interesting. In 1972, the Unix operating system was rewritten in the programming language C, opening the possibility for other programmers to create their own operating system variants. During the following years, different companies bought licenses in order to distribute their own versions of the operating system. Despite the great popularity of Linux after its creation in 1992, and despite it being open source, it was eventually surpassed by a similar operating system with certain peculiarities. In 1994, the company Neurobox published its closed-source operating system called Ellipse, along with an SDK. To date, the names of the programmers behind the project have not been made public. Although the system was initially derived from Unix, changes to the source were so substantial that it is now considered a system similar to Unix rather than a branch of it. Okay, that's mildly interesting, I suppose. I wonder, because I don't think there's anything really of interest in this system, even though I haven't really looked everywhere. Let's look at the, I guess let's, I just don't know really what to do next. I guess let's look at the text files and the config file. And just look through those. Sources, of course, will have nothing. Xorg will be blank. FTPD will be blank. I don't know why I would expect it to find those. Nothing there. Yeah, I don't know. I wonder if that Reese employee that they were saying was killed off. I wonder if we can get into their computer. Let's try R shelling their email address and just see. Just to see. It probably won't work, but let's just see. Oops. Oh my gosh. Mail not delivered. It's not even a real address. Of course not. All right. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck, I guess. Let's look at this scan line again. So we've been on that computer, that computer, that computer, and the router. I suppose we could try these other ones, see if there's anything of interest there, but my gut's telling me there's not a lot to find. I guess we could try hacking into this other router, see if it has any different logs. Kind of stuck. I guess let's just try some other computers. There's not that, I mean, we're almost halfway through the network anyway, so I'm not going to R shell into all of them, although I'm just going to kind of get a bounce and see if they seem like they might have anything useful, just to start. It'd be really frustrating to get 4 networks deep into this mission and not be able to figure out how to solve it. Might not even publish the video if I can't figure out how to solve this one. It'd be embarrassing. Let's see, number 13. All right, we got nothing of any interest. No chat logs, no pictures, some mail and bank files, but nothing else. We got a system log. I'll come back to that if it turns out, if I don't find anything else anywhere else. But let's see. 172.168.13.7. Slope 14. What's here? Nothing in this computer either. All right. 172.168.13.6. Oh, here's somebody asking for advice. I have Pluto. Pluto's awesome. Person's just asking for advice on how to set up their R shell server. I'm not totally sure what part they're at. It says they keep getting the message to access the router configuration and make sure the service is accessible. It's relatively self-explanatory. Maybe they're doing it from the wrong computer, that's my guess, or they're not sure what to do once they get to that web page. Install the R shell on the target, but you have to have the R shell server running somewhere first to point the R shell client to. That should be a rental under your control. When you're setting up your R shell server, that is where you configure the port forwarding on the router in that server's network. Alright, hopefully they can figure that out. Let's see. So we have our new bounce, 15, swap 15, tree. Alright, this one has a chat log at least, so that's something. So not really much else. Let's see what's in the chat log. Alright, well let's get a R shell going on this. Alright. Sorry about that. I'm a little bit tired. Okay, go to R shell. Let's go to this fan since that was the user that had the chat log. Again, though, it doesn't really matter since we will immediately escalate to root. All right. All right, sorry about that. Now there's another person asking a question too about the police missions. Those tend to be a little bit harder. They're actually very similar to this one. You have to kind of follow the breadcrumbs. Alright, so we have the R shell, let's see, swap 16. Oops, I was halfway into that command already. Let's escalate to root, download, start a log, minimize the scan land, it's kind of big. Alright, which one are we on right now? Is this 13.6? Here we go. Let's see what's in this chat log. Hey, congratulations on the new job. Thanks. Been trying to land a gig like this for some time. Something about the pay. Boss is a jerk. Guy's a piece of work, proper idiot. He keeps asking me for stupid things that in the end he won't even use. He's totally incompetent, and while my time is wasted on his whims, I end up without the time needed to finish the tasks that I was initially assigned. If it were not for him, it would be the perfect job. I would not worry too much, man. If he's so incompetent, before long he might end up working for you. That's not helpful. Flavor text. Let's see what's in the log, just in case. Nothing. All right. Nothing else, I think, of any interest in here. In case you're wondering, I have in the past checked out like the transaction log history in these bank.txt files. I've looked, in the email addresses, in the email inboxes. I've done a lot of looking, and I haven't really found. So I must be missing something. There's something somewhere that I'm missing, and I'm just not sure really what it is. Which, I mean, obviously, if I knew what I was missing, I wouldn't be missing it. So, but I guess all I can do is just keep going. Next one is 13.5. 72.16.13.5. Let's see. We have a root computer, number 17. Let's see what we have in this computer. Nothing. Nothing of any interest at all. All right. Next one is 16.13.3. And this is going to be on 18. Nothing. Oh, we got some chat logs and some pictures, it looks like, on this computer. Let's go ahead and do it. Oops, that is. Huh. Got the R shell going on this computer. This one will be 19. Wait for that to download. Let's get the JPEG. JPEGs, I guess. There's two of them. Man, we're almost at 2 hours on this video. I think if I get to 2 hours, I haven't figured it out. I'm just going to cut it off and send it. Hopefully, maybe somebody can give me some tips. That'd be pretty cool. I upload this shit and somebody pops on and drops me a comment. I would love that. Although it would be fun to figure it out, but I think this one might be one of the harder ones because like I said, I've done some of these car missions before. It wasn't really that hard, so I must be missing something. 1613.3. This one. Chat log first. Oh wow, that is a really boring chat log. How do I download this? Click to download. Haha, there's a huge button there. Not amused face. Okay. How about the pictures? That's a nice picture. Little island. Oh look, a sunset. Okay. Anything in the log? No, of course not. So back to the router. I think we've only got one other computer that I haven't, or maybe two. I don't think I looked at 1.2 yet. But let's try 1613.2. Oh, that's a lot of up arrows. All right. This is going to be number 20. Anything in there? No. How disappointing. Yeah. No chat logs, nothing. So, all right. Last one is this 168.1.2 is the only one I don't think I've done yet. 21. Oh, maybe I have done this one because there's that report reads file again. Have I done this one already? And we have a bank.txt file. Oh, this is the admin's computer, I think. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Let's just log into the admin's email address. I wonder if the admin email has anything of interest. It is the Osperpen. And that's on 192.168.1.2. I can tell it's the admin's computer, by the way, because the mail .txt file is in the root folder. It's like if we look at this, or I'm sorry, bank.txt is in the root config folder, which on an NPC system, that would only happen on the admin's computer. But let's get logged into the admin's mail. Let's see. We have not been on here before, so it's interesting to me that this has the same report reuse PDF on it that the other one has. Put this guy. I'm gonna get this out of here. That thing is so big. It's really useful because it gives you like a nice little layout of the network, including all the switches and routers and stuff. But it's just takes so much space. All right. No, nothing interesting in the admin's email address. Something complaining about a user. Yeah, I guess whoever Neela is, she didn't do a good job. All right, well, let's R shell this anyway, and just so we can get the just double check that report reuse PDF, make sure it's the same. Check the rest of the files, the bank file as well. Just, again, I don't know what I'd be looking for, but I might. That's interesting. I have to revise my decipher script because it doesn't know what to do with that bank file. It doesn't, since it's under the root. I think it just doesn't display it. I think when I wrote that, I didn't realize it could be under the root. All right, but we have the mail. That's enough. So let's go ahead and do funny game here. We'll send it to this fella. Now, there's some missions, by the way, where like you have to run a sniffer, and you're looking for, particularly like the 0-day mission, for example. You would run a sniffer, and you're watching for programs to make an outbound connection or attempt to make an outbound connection when you run them. Uh, it's possible we may have to do something like that for this mission, but on the 0-day mission, you kind of have an indication because um, the there like there's a document or chat or email or something, I don't remember, where they talk about having a special repository. Um, and so if you find your target computer and you look, you'll see that the sources.txt file has a repository address in it. And if you add that repository and check what's available, you'll see that there's like 3 programs on it. There's, I think scanlib is one, and I don't know, there's 2 others. And so that kind of tells you like, hey, those programs, there might be something special about them. And so you run, I think, any one of those 3 programs, and it will attempt to make an outbound connection to another IP address. And then that's kind of how you get to the next step in that mission is the sniffer will show you what IP address it's attempting to make that outbound connection to. Or, you can also go back to the router at that point and find the connection routed logs. I think it's trying to connect on SSH or something. So on those missions, you would use, like a sniffer to, or like I said, go back and look at the logs after you run those binaries. But on this mission, I haven't seen anything like that. I would expect some kind of indication, something in the sources.txt file on one of these computers, something to indicate that, we got to pay attention to those things. And I just didn't see anything like that. So that's why I haven't been doing that. But I'm wondering if maybe that's what it is that I'm missing. So, I don't know. Like I said, I haven't solved this particular mission before. So it's hard to say what might not be needed. I've been looking at emails and stuff, but as you can tell, there's just not a lot in them. So let's download this PDF just to make sure it is for sure the same PDF as before. Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, Jesse Rees. I mean, I wonder if there's some other, maybe it was like back on one of those other networks. Maybe this network was like just a fun little diversion. The other thing, I'm gonna just real quick, wonder if I can get like the firewall rules off of this router to see if there's any information there. It says the firewall's enabled. Can I ping it? No, that's just a simulation. Yeah. Maybe try the switch to is it scan router? I think. Let's see. Oh, that's a lot of sources.txt. Whoops. Yeah. Oh, right. Let's do this. It's an Etsy apt sources. let's just go ahead and oops. Scan router's in the hack shop, so if I run scan router on 172.16.13.1, so we do have firewall rule, but it's not. The only IP in it is the 192.168.1.2. So 192.168.1.2 can access this computer, but not any others. What if I give it the switch? I don't think scan router works on a switch, but let's just see. 172.16.4.1. It does actually. Okay, so we're allowing access to 172.16.4.1 on port 8080. That's weird. 172.168.13.7 to anywhere. Why? What's special about 172.168.13.7? Well, let's try a couple things. Let's do browser. Let's look at the switch from the browser. I didn't think switches had an interface, but it appears to have one. So let's see what we get. It does have one, but it's just showing the same firewall rules already there. We can see, obviously these firewall rules match these firewall rules. But there's no port forwarding, so that's how a switch is different, I guess. I mean, one of the ways a switch is different. So that's interesting, but I do want to take a closer look at this computer, 13.7, since that one has its own little firewall rule for reasons that I don't know. So maybe, let's see what's on that one. 16.13.7. That is 14. This one was one of the ones that didn't have anything at all interesting about it, but let's just see. Maybe that was a mistaken assumption. Let's get a little R shell going here. I kind of shifted my windows around. Let me put that back. Scanline really messes up the whole window layout situation. Added 7 R shells to the stack. That's well, it didn't add new ones. Just replaced the ones I already had. So 23. is the one we want. Let's go ahead and escalate. Download the log. .7. Nothing. Why? What are we doing? Like, why was that in the firewall logs when there's nothing, for firewall rules, rather? Firewall rules. Why was that in there when there's nothing at all special about this computer? At least there's nothing in system.log. Let's look in source. I guess let's just download the text files. We can try his email, see if there's anything special about his email. Let's try that, I guess. We have the credentials right here. My untaint. What a password. There's the funny game email I just sent. Nothing. Just complaining about a coworker. Don't know what happened with Tilda, but yesterday some documents need to be uploaded and ended up in a format no one can open. Sometimes I wonder if there's a check before sending things. It's not a big issue. I fixed it quickly. I hope there's more care next time. You know, what's funny is I check up on these users, like Tilda, this employee that he's talking about. There's no user named Tilda in this network. So I think that's funny. All right, well, I don't really know how to proceed with this. So I guess I'm just gonna kind of end the video here. I will upload this. If you have any comments, any suggestions, anything I missed, please let me know. And like I said, if you've stuck with me this whole time, you are amazing. This has been a hell of a slog. Even I got bored, and I'm, doing it. So, yeah, hopefully someone has some insight to offer here, because this is the second time I've tried to do this kind. I mean, it's exactly the same steps, and I got exactly this far last time, and couldn't figure it out. So I must be missing something. So anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.